Hey people, Sleepy Reader here, shooting 2 videos in a row, still in the same t-shirt by Jared Osborn. Smile. Um, Gonna do a really fast little comic book thoughts, just some random thoughts on some random books that I've read in the past few weeks. Uh, really digging Silver Surfer. I think if it weren't for my daughter, well, probably because of the Michael Allred art, I would have stuck with it for a while anyway. But the longer I've been reading this Dan Slott, Michael Allred Silver Surfer, the more I appreciate what Dan Slott is doing here and the risks he takes and his willingness to make a different Silver Surfer. I just really like the whole thing. I'm maybe I'm too sleepy to really describe it. And this is the Mobius issue where the story loops around potentially infinitely. You have to kind of jump off the loop to get to the end of the story. And the points of view keep shifting on the same events. It's a very, very clever issue. The art continues to be wonderful. The relationship between the Silver Surfer and Dawn, his companion, who always dresses like a ladybug, has just progressed really nicely. I mean, it seemed kind of silly at first, but it's really grown on me. I'm really glad I've been reading The Silver Surfer. As long as this team is on it, I will be buying it. You should too. No, I don't really want to tell other people what to read, but I think it's awesome. And it just keeps getting richer. So I hope it lasts a while. I don't think its sales are that great. Maybe its sales will be better in trade or digitally or whatever. Mythic came out last week. It was $1.99. It was also by Phil Hester, who I feel like I've read stuff by him I liked before. It has some pretty cool art by John McCrae, nice colors, but I really hated it. I can't see getting issue 2. It was pointed out by Ghost Critic. It is a bit of a similar vibe to Rumble, but Rumble, I like the art even more in Rumble, and also Rumble has a sense of humor that I can buy into. The sense of humor here just seems a little too dumb and a little too gross to me. I mean, I could like dumb, gross humor as much as anyone, but it just doesn't click with me. And I just don't care. It's kind of a clever idea that everything that we think is explained by science now that's an illusion, and it's all really is mythological things that control everything, the way more primitive humans used to know was true. So that was kind of a bummer. Birthright continues on nicely. It's a little less flashy now, a little more low-key, but I'm still really enjoying it. I still really like the art. The characters are growing. I'm curious to see what turns the mother will take. Is she starting to buy into the idea that this is her son, this Conan guy? I love the winged pregnant woman. So yeah, I was very happy with this issue of Birthright. Okay, here's the book that I think makes one of the books that makes me happiest right now. It's a mini series, so this was issue 4 of 5, so there's only one more issue to go. It's Richard Corbin's Rat God. It's very Richard Corbin and very H.P. Lovecraft kind of mixed together. It's just crazy, kooky horror, sexual, elder gods. I'm kind of in the dark here, so I don't see what pages I'm opening things to in advance. Let's see. It's just extremely pleasing to me, mostly because it's like nothing else. I just hope Richard Corbin keeps doing more stuff like that. Okay, here's another bummer. Afterlife with Archie. I was really looking forward to this. I think this must have taken like 5 or 6 months to come out. That's what it feels like. And this issue just didn't interest me at all. And it seems like the whole series is going off in a direction that's not fun and doesn't feel organic. It feels forced, and it feels, rather than things happening on stage, it's characters talking about what's happening. And I know that this writer, although he's written quite a few comic books, got his start. Oh, they don't credit him on the front cover, but Roberto Aguirre Sacasa got his start as a playwright, and it feels like the kind of play where someone comes out on stage, on a bare stage, and sits on a chair and kind of tells their story. And to me, that's not what I want in a comic book. Plus, I guess the story I don't buy into that much. He wants to kind of retcon the whole Riverdale world as being, through and through all these veins of creepy horror in the past. And I'd rather it be the regular Archie world suddenly in the dawn of the dead or whatever, and not all this kind of retrofitting of the Archie world. So just all those things together have made me decide to drop this, at least as a floppy on my pull list. I can always pick up the rest of it later in trades if I become interested again. It's a huge shame because what's this, issue 8? I'd say for the first 6 issues, this was one of my favorite comics. Issue 7, I felt some slippage too. I felt a lot less interested in this. With issue 8, I felt very uninterested. On the other hand, Lady Killer was killing it. This is beautiful art, great story, kind of a unity of style and intention and character and time and the kind of story it is. I mean, if you're going to do a story about a housewife who is a hired killer in the 1950s, this is the way to do it. This is the way for me to digest it. And there's a strong hint in the back that there'll be more volumes. This ends the story for now. So I really look forward to that. I really hope that Joelle Jones sticks with it, that this sells well, and she does many more volumes to come. Ms. Marvel was very good. It continues to have, for me, the old-fashioned Marvel feel. The Stan Lee, Steve Ditko, John Romita era of Marvel. And I think that Willow Wilson is better at all the little details and the character and the emotional twists and turns. The actual superhero conveniences is not killer. It's more conveniences and contrivances and such. But it doesn't bother me at all. I really love it. That said, I have removed this from my pull list. It was the only Marvel comic on my comic book shop pull list because it's the only one that for $2.99, and the only one I felt I had to have. But I don't really want to deal with this while it's mixed up with Secret Wars, so I'll just come back to it when I'm sure the coast is clear and it's just back to normal. Yeah. Okay, and then another one that I really loved, Joe Frankenstein. This is kind of a surprise one to me. I picked it up, I think I've said before, because of Tom Ray. And this is just issue 3, but I feel like we're really deep into the story. It's a $3.99 book, but I have no regrets in picking it up. I think there's about 27 pages of story. It's a very high quality, as is always the case with IDW, high quality package. Great art, great story, very reminiscent of the 80s for me, of the good 80s comics. Let's see. I'll just mention a few more. Southern Cross. I get the impression most people are pretty impatient with this book, and I completely understand why. But I completely like it. I think a lot. The art really works for me. I like the feeling of exploring this spaceship. That's something very simple, but I just really like it. I really like this spaceship and the way they've designed it. The characters are good, perhaps not awesome. The plot is ticking along very slowly, and I don't even know if the plot's going to amount to very much. But somehow it just all works for me. I'm in the groove with it. Maybe if it were a more expensive comic book, I'm very shallow that way, maybe I would question it more. But I'm just really enjoying it. I look forward to it coming, to the next issue coming out. It's just pleasing to me. But definitely Becky Cloonan doesn't know yet how to make that kind of high concept story with character beats that keep you moving through each issue, and at the end of the issue you're dying to know what's going to happen next to the character. It's much more low-key than that. And she may or may not be under control of her material and consciously be doing it that way. But yet it still works for me. Okay, this is weird. I don't remember much of what happened in Baltimore Cult of the Red King. I kind of think that's a sign that maybe I'm done with Baltimore, or I should be waiting for trades. The art was nice. The color, of course, was really nice. And they've raised the price. So I don't know. I've been a big Baltimore fan up to this point. Devilers by Joshua Hale Fialkoff. I'm loving his work on the life after. This also deals with religion and heaven and hell, but it's a muddled mess. It does a bit have a vibe of 70s horror comics, like Dracula, Gene Colan kind of stuff, or the Night Watch, and perhaps a few other comics. And that's at first why I really liked it, even though, it was kind of in a minor key for all of that. And there seems to be interesting stuff going on here, but it's muddled. It's hard to work out what's happening. Often you're looking at the art and you're not sure who did what and why and what the meaning of it all is. Although here I'm going to really spoil it, so if you haven't read Devilers yet and you plan to, turn away. At the end of this issue, we have someone who apparently goes to heaven and meets this oversized Jesus, and total really spoiler here. So he pees on Jesus. I'm not going to be offended by that. Who cares? It's, just juvenile stuff, and it kind of makes me laugh, but it seems to completely not fit with the tone of this book at all. I guess this guy is the atheist, the unbeliever. Maybe that's useful because maybe this isn't Jesus, but some other trap by the devil, or a demon, because I guess the devil has been kicked out of hell and is actually working with the Devilers and the Pope. The Pope has made a deal with the devil to fight the other demons who've taken over hell so that the balance can be restored, I guess. That sounds kind of good or interesting, but it's a mess. I think there's just 1 or 2 issues to go. I think someone told me that. So we'll see if it will all make more sense later on. Man. Yeah, like I said in my other video, it's been just kind of, in a weird way, kind of just a rough patch of weeks. I've still been reading a lot of comic books, but it just seems hard to get down to doing these videos. And although all my videos are highly amateurish, I do prefer to do them when my brain is clicking a little bit. But anyway, my purpose behind videos has always been as kind of a video journal of my reading, along with the connection, the community. So I hope you guys are all reading some great comics, and I will be watching your videos. Talk